Welcome to Biztech's Technology Show, the show where we feature tech companies operating across Asia, telling us about their solutions and how they make a difference to their customers' businesses. Today, we speak to Holger Friesz, Vice President Commercial, and Alan Wong, Regional Vice President Asia Pacific from AnyDesk. AnyDesk is one of the world's leading providers of remote desktop software. Now, gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us. Hey, Brian.
Hello.
Now, Holger, I'm going to put you on the spot and you start us off by giving us an overview of AnyDesk and how Philipp Weiser founded the company in Stuttgart, Germany, home of Mercedes-Benz and Porsche.
Yeah, happy to do so. Well, it is a kind of a dream when people are working in a company, in a tech company, maybe one of our competitors, and getting frustrated with how things are being handled. And Philip thought he can do it 10 times better. So he found two colleagues of him with that company. And together they brainstormed, they put some thoughts together, and then they said, we are ready to found our own company and show the world that we can do 10 times better as they are. And the 10 times is not just a marketing claim that you put out there. They put even measurements, KPIs, into place to measure. It had to be 10 times faster, 10 times smaller, easier to use with certain measurements around that. So in that sense, they were founding a company in 2014. That was the AnyDesk GmbH. And since then, everything was basically skyrocketing. The company was growing year over year. Revenue was growing year over year, customer base. And now today in 2021, we are meanwhile at about 180 employees, have customers in 190 countries. So basically in every country on Earth, even on the Antarctic, we have a research station that's using AnyDesk. There's funny stories outside.
That's interesting.
And yeah, we have more than 500 million clients out there. So we're doing good and we're helping the world. That's our mission.
Okay, now Alan, could you give us an overview of AnyDesk's key product and service offerings?
Okay, so AnyDesk right now is a single product company. So we have our core AnyDesk software, which is a remote access software. So modern software for remote access, it's about multi-platform. So we can connect from Windows to Linux, and then also to Android, to iOS, and also to macOS, for example, because people are using different devices. So this is the main product that our customers are using.
Now, Holger, tell us about your core technology and what are its key advantages?
Right. I'll try to not get too much into technical details, but as I said before, our founders wanted to do something very special and wanted to develop something that was not existing yet. We don't took any kind of existing library. They wanted to do it 10 times better from scratch. So they developed an own codec called DeskRT. That is basically the core, what is needed in order to show a third-party screen on your PC, on your computer. And this transmission is how you would experience the software. Either it is slow or it is fast. And the way of how this has been developed, it is with normal bandwidth, you have a lossless transmission. So it is literally the same as you would sit on the other side, on the other computer or the other device. But also if you live in, or if you want to access a system in with low bandwidth, the codec can compress that good, actually, that 100 kilobit is enough in order to have a very smooth transmission. So you're able to operate on a third-party device and take control.
Wow, that's a really small footprint.
It is. And in addition, our backend has also developed on a very specific and unique language developed by Ericsson called Erlang. Erlang is a development language that is being used for telecommunication providers that allows basically very stable, high secure, distributed backend infrastructure, which is needed for AnyDesk. As mentioned before, we have customers all over the world and infrastructure in many, many countries. And this is basically what makes us different to any other software providers that are out there in the way of how we are dealing with the technology. In addition to that, our software is also available on premise for those ones that have a very high secure or different security approach that don't want to go into the cloud. So our software is also provided to those customers in an on-premise version. Everything, cloud as well as on-premise, has a highly high encryption and military standard.
And also you have your product range, the price point actually starts as just for a single user, $9.90 a month. And then it scales according on a per user basis, correct?
Yes, that's right. We currently have 3 plans. So we have Essential, which you just mentioned, starts at $9.90. And then these are really for the self-employed, but people using AnyDesk for commercial use, sort of like a doctor when they need to, connect to their computer back in the clinic or something. And then we have the middle, which is more for SME, what we call performance. So that one is $19.90 a month. And then that's more for SME market. And then we have the enterprise, which is separated into cloud and also on-premise. So these are the offerings we have right now for our customers.
Okay, now Holger, tell us about a typical large enterprise customer in Europe and how, what sort of size of users do they have in terms of using AnyDesk?
As Alan already said, we have customers starting very small to very large organizations. The number of companies that we are running that are using AnyDesk are quite diverse. We are in every vertical, actually. I can tell you one customer that has a fancy use case that I like very much. Okay. You probably have seen those football games where a camera is basically flying over the football field. Mm-hmm. This is spider cam, actually. They're called spider cams, and they're giving these nice images that you're almost very close to the game. Now, all of those cameras is an AnyDesk client running, because the way of how they are setting up and fine-tune the camera, this is happening through AnyDesk. Another good example are those power farms, those windmills farms. You would not think about that they would be powered with a computer inside that would actually control and steer them. There are thousands of them out there and that are producing power. And they're also controlled with a company called Vestas. They are running them, and they're using AnyDesk in order to connect to those systems and to monitor, to maintain them, and to manage them.
Now, Vestas is one of the global leaders in that space, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They're very large. And then we have some other more fancy use cases. So you could think about IoT. It goes into the IoT topic. When you think about a coffee machine that is connected to the internet, it's running on an Android system, and basically you can connect, or the manufacturer can connect to the machine and configure it, get the log files out, do bug tracking before actually a technician is driving out and bringing spare parts in order to fix the machine. So we have very interesting cases.
Quite a few different use cases in terms of that.
Definitely.
Quite interesting. Now, I want to ask Alan this. You've got a lot of competitors in your space. So everything from TeamViewer to ConnectWise, Control, Zoho Assist, and the list goes on. What is your competitive edge in the market, particularly in the Asia Pacific region that we are operating in, Alan?
Yeah. So before AnyDesk, I actually worked 20 years over technology solutions, selling CRMs and ERP. So one of the core experience, I guess, also, with the travel experience around APAC, it's a very service-oriented kind of market. Like, people expect good service. It's particular apparent when you go to places like Bangkok. Yeah, you go check in a hotel, the experience is very different versus when you go to, say, America. So what we want to do is to really develop really good service for our customers. So this is on top of what our technology that Holger mentioned earlier with the Desk RT offers. Our core advantage in terms of technology in that space is that in countries where we have lesser infrastructure, we are actually better than all of our competitors in terms of performance. And if you think about it, the technology of remote access, there are all these bells and whistles that you can tell your customers or prospect about. But at the end of the day, what people really want, it's a very seamless experience of accessing another computer or another device. So we really win in that space in a lot of the countries, especially in Asia, where infrastructure is not as, as top as like Singapore or Hong Kong, where, in these countries with faster internet, they have, they can't really feel much of a difference, but in other places, they can really feel the difference with AnyDesk.
Okay, so it comes back to Alan, to what Holger said just now in terms of the very small footprint as part of your core technology.
Yes.
Now, Alan, so tell us a little bit more about AnyDesk's current presence in the Asia Pacific region and what's your go-to-market strategy?
Cool. Okay, so we just opened our Hong Kong and China office earlier this year, and I joined AnyDesk earlier this year as well. So our goal is to really expand on the really strong organic market that we have already. So we have about 170 million devices installed across Asia Pacific. And this was present even before I came or before we had the team, right? It's really came from organic. Yep. And of course, COVID last year gave us a big boost where, lockdowns in various countries increased the organic demands for our software, in a big way. Yeah, many times. So right now we want to be capitalizing on these and also catching up to the demand where we can service our customer properly and also be able to offer them support and service in this particular time zone. So what we also want to do, knowing that there are so many different languages in Asia, we are really getting into the localization of our services and our product so that we can really get deep into each of those markets and sort of expand our market that way.
Okay, and where do you see in terms of adoption sectorially, where would you see the strongest adoption in your opinion?
I think our strongest adoption is definitely with the SMEs. So there are lots of SMEs across Asia Pac, and then with SME, with the price point that we're offering and the simplicity of our product packages. So unlike some of our other competitors, where you choose different options, like if you want mobile support, different things you have to add to the price, we offer one price and very transparent and clear features that we offer. You get the whole package basically. So it's very easy to understand from our customers' point of view, and they know this is what they're committing to in terms of the price, and they get the full features and nothing hidden behind the scenes afterwards.
Okay, now Holger, I want to ask you a little bit about security. Now, there are many instances where bad actors use remote desktop software to obtain access to a victim's computer. So they impersonate a technical support person and so forth. Now, today, globally, cybersecurity is in the forefront of CIOs' minds today. Tell us about the security features of AnyDesk.
So security is a big topic actually for our customers. This is also why we have customers also from military sectors using our technology, as AnyDesk provides the highest grade of security. The encryption has a military standard that is in there by standard, but we do also have the opportunity running by cloud or on-premise. So this is the first differentiation that depends. But even in the cloud environment, you have various opportunities or options in our system to configure higher security standards. One is an example, we can run on so-called namespaces. That means while there is a comfort function behind that you have not to remember a number to connect to a third-party system, it is also easy basically to whitelist only companies that are within one contract, within one namespace, to allow access for it. That means companies from outside with different contract cannot connect to your devices that are listed within one specific namespace. In addition to that, we have two-factor authentication, passwords, standards, and as I said, from a technology point of how it's been developed, we have a very high focus on bug tracking, on not releasing systems with bugs, and we are very fast behind bug fixing, and have also a very high track record of being one of the most secure solutions out there on the market. And this is one of our USPs as well, if you compare to other solutions. So this is our value, one of the values that we are trying to protect and that we are focusing on. In terms of scam that you mentioned, what we do here in this regard is also allowing or reducing features from our free version and from our trial versions. So specific features are not available that scammers would use in order to scam other people. This is like privacy screen. So your screen is being blacked out, so people would not see what's happening behind that. We are protecting here our customers. We're also showing a frame when your screen is being transmitted, so it's clear when there is a screen sharing. In addition to that, we have a team that's working very close with officials, with the authorities when there are scams happening, whatever technology they are using on the market, that we are very fast identifying who they are and also supporting them in actually getting them locked down and arrested if needed or if possible. In addition, ongoing education is a key for us as well. We have blog posts, we do webinars. We're trying to educate our customers how to deal with that technology. And as so many have been, just due to the pandemic, has been thrown into the situation to be forced using such a technology, education is a very key for them to understand how to deal with such a system. We show warnings, we make sure that they are aware that if they share their screen, if they give control to someone else, that they know to whom they give it.
I think, Holger, one of the key things is, especially in some markets in the Asia Pacific region, and let's take out sophisticated markets like, for lack of a better word, I use the word more sophisticated markets like Singapore and Hong Kong, you would find that the SMEs in many countries, from a technology standpoint, probably need a lot of education in this space, because they're not, remote access for their machines and devices are something that's just happened in the last 2 years.
That is true. Education is an ongoing thing, actually. Think about credit cards. Everybody's using credit cards for ages, meanwhile, but still abuse is happening. So people still need to get abused and need to get trained and able to protect themselves. Things like if you have your bank card and you put your PIN at the back, no one would do that today. When they came out, a lot of people did it. Education on how to set secure passwords. These are the general things that you would do in an IT environment. This is happening in our world here as well in a similar way. We also have further control mechanisms, which I cannot really reveal here just because they are part of our secrets to you in order to identify when scheme is happening. But yeah, we take a lot of measures actually to avoid that.
Now, Holger, AnyDesk has just raised 70 million in a Series C funding. That brings its valuation to about 650 million US dollars. What is the company doing to deploy this capital?
We are investing. That's what we always did. We are expanding massively. So I'm with the company now since a year, and when I started, we were 80 people. Now we are 180, just in 1 year. We have, during the pandemic, we have founded our offices in the US, in Florida, Tampa. We have founded our office in Hong Kong and in Shanghai. And all regions will grow massively next year. We have huge expansion plans. We're investing in technology, in our server infrastructure, in people that will be able to serve the markets, to take care of our customers. And this is how we are scaling. This is how we're growing. So everything is going back into R&D, into the teams, into the people, into growing.
Alan, for 2022, what are your key objectives for the year for the Asia Pacific region?
Okay, so as I mentioned in your previous question with APAC, with the go-to-market strategy, we are really expanding in the localization. So one of the core markets, especially with myself being a Chinese background, we are really focused on expanding the China market. In fact, a month ago, we made a press release about how we invested heavily for the infrastructure in China. So this is inside the Greater China Firewall, where we can serve the Chinese customers effectively. Okay. Yeah, in the past, our servers lives outside of China. So when they connect to AnyDesk, they actually need to be connected outside. And then at different times of the day, the performance can be a little bit different. So now they have a stable and fast connection. So China definitely a big focus for us. In addition, Southeast Asia and Australia are also very big organic markets for us for this year. So next year we would invest heavily in these markets also.
Okay, gentlemen, it's been a fascinating conversation. But before we leave, could we have final thoughts that you would like to leave us with? We'll start with Holger.
I think it's also the time for the holidays to also reflect and be just a little bit of being grateful of all the success that we have and who is actually has enabled that to us. And this is our customer base, our huge customer base all around the world. And for me, it is fantastic to hear and to listen, to read the feedback that we get through all channels and to be able to serve our community and help them actually to get their businesses going, to help their families in a private environment. And so for me, if there's a last word, then it's a big, big thank you to all of our customers out there. We're here for you, and we'll keep on working for you. And this makes our lives, this makes our days.
Thank you, Holger. How about you, Alan?
Yeah, so one of the most satisfying thing being in AnyDesk is that our software actually able to help many people. In a lot of ways, it can help basically anyone who needs remote access, because we also have a freemium model where anyone can download and use it. I use it to help my family who lives in Australia, and I haven't seen them for about 2 years because of the travel restrictions.
Yeah.
So, my mum had printer problems, I'll help them. So a lot of these stories really go out there about using AnyDesk to help people, because it's one of our key expansion, methodology of becoming an everyday name. Yeah. So we really want this to happen, to be able to help people. And at the same time, we take profits from commercial use, people who are using our software for profit. But in a way, I'm so happy it's because the technology itself can really help people and shorten the distance and save people's time. So this has been a really, proud change in career for me. So now, I'm serving this company, and at the same time, these products are helping everyone, especially around APAC.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for taking your time to be on the show.
Thank you very much for having us.
Now, I'm Brian Fernandez, and we've been speaking to Holger Friesz, Vice President Commercial at AnyDesk, and Alan Wong, who's the Regional Vice President Asia Pacific at AnyDesk, on Biztech's Technology Show. This video and podcast will be on our various platforms, as well as our website, www.biztech.asia. Please like and subscribe to our various platforms. Thank you very much for tuning in.